Let's try this again. The enemy just don't want me to do it today, I guess. But we're going to do it anyway. Woke up late. Had a long, stressful day. Got home. This household is acting crazy. But we stick with it. We stick with it. But today is chapter 12. We have been reading a proverb a day. If you're jumping on, say hi. We're going to read Proverbs Chapter 12. We already prayed a while ago before we started reading. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to jump right into it. Proverbs Chapter 12. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge. But he who hates correction, this says, is stupid. And I'm using my New King James Version. And it does say the word stupid. My NIV says stupid as well. The King James Version states, whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. So, if we love discipline, if we want the Lord to teach us right, which we all should want the Lord to teach us right from wrong and let us know when we're doing something that is ungodly, something that is not righteous in His eyes. We should want Him to correct us. We should want that Holy Spirit conviction within us so that we can make sure that we are not continuously doing something that is mispleasing to Him. It says, but he who hates correction, I'm not going to say that word again. Basically, he who doesn't like to be corrected doesn't have good sense. You should want to be corrected. Verse 2 says, a good man obtains favor from the Lord, but a man of wicked intentions He will condemn. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous can't be moved. I'm going to say that again. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous cannot be moved. If you're righteous, you're righteous. Plain and simple. It says, listen to this. It says, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who shames is like rottenness in his bones. That's why we're reading Proverbs, so that we can learn, even if you're not a wife, if you are a wife, whatever it may be, Proverbs teaches you the person you need to be, the characters you need to be a godly woman. We're not even going to say wife. We're going to say woman. In order for us to be a godly woman, we need a proverb a day. We need something to tell us how our character needs to line up with the Word of God. Verse 5 says, the thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked are lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. A man will be commended according to his wisdom, godly wisdom, but he who is of a perverse heart will be despised. And we have read the definition of perverse. If you don't know what that means, I encourage you to go look it up. I encourage you to do deep Bible study in this. I just love the more and more that I learn each and every time that I read and the more that I dig. And again, the place where I use most of my digging is blueletterbible.org. It gives you every version of the Bible. It gives you commentaries. It gives you dictionaries. It gives you the Hebrew and the Greek of the original. It gives you the meanings of specific words. Like, it is the best website there is. They also have an app as well. But verse 9 says, better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. So let's read that one more time. Let's see. Better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than pretend to be somebody and have no food. Let me read that one more time. And I'm reading that version out of my NIV. It says, better to be a nobody and have a servant than to pretend to be a somebody and have no food. If that ain't powerful, I don't know what is. We're going to go down to verse 10. It says, a righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows, I cannot say that. Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. The wicked is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteous will come through trouble. Did you hear me? The righteous, it don't say the righteous is not going to have troubles. It says the righteous will come through the troubles. We're on verse 14. A man will be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands will be rendered to him. That's why I read mainly out of my NIV, because it breaks words down better for me than in my bigger books. But I love my daily devotion from this one. So verse 14 of the NIV states, from the fruit of their lips, people are filled with good things, and the work of their hands bring them reward. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a prudent man covers shame. Did y'all hear that? Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. When you're insulted, when you're talked about, when you're looked down on, you're going to look over it because you know the things that are coming against you aren't true. Y'all need to read this. He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness deceit. There is no one speaks like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise promotes health. The words, this is the same verse, the words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise bring healing. Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening to this? Deceit is in the heart of those who plot evil, but those who promote peace have joy. Those who promote peace have joy. No harm overtakes the righteous, but the wicked have their fill of trouble. The Lord detests, we talked about this yesterday, the Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. In the New King James Version, it says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. Verse 23, the prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly. Basically, what that is saying, that goes back to pride, to me. A fool's heart, or someone who is all about themselves in the world and earthly gain and attention, hear me, is going to always blurt out, be there, things of that sort. But prudent keeps the knowledge to themselves. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. This is one of my favorite verses, this next verse right here. This is Proverbs Chapter 12, verse 25. Write this on a sticky note. Put this somewhere, because all of us women need this verse. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. I'm going to give you a minute to write that down. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but kind word cheers it up. The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. The lazy do not roast any game, but the diligent feed on the riches of the hunt. In the way of the righteous there is life. Along that path is immortality. What does this say? In the way of the righteous is life, and in its pathway there is no death. Most of those explain their self, or is something that we have talked about this past week. Again, if you haven't, I don't want y'all just to be watching these to listen to me. I want you to open them and do them yourself. I do this for me, for my reading, for me, but I just do it to where others can see, because I know a lot of people normally ask and reach out and tell me they miss me doing my lives and things of that sort. So I'm just being obedient and letting others hear the word, if anything else. But we're going to read our devotion today, and it's based off verse 1, and it says, whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. And this is the New King James Version. It says, at the moment of my writing, a mother with her daughter is sitting next to me. Her daughter is starving for attention, talking to her mother with no reply, calling her name, patting her knee, and even running across the entire room. I want to grab the mother's cell phone and tell her to look up, acknowledge her daughter, and give her some attention. I glanced at the little girl, trying to get her attention. I see you, I am saying as I wave at her, and she sneaks a peek around the corner. I hear you, I'm saying. Then the mother ends her phone, texting, and Instagram viewing, she gathers her child and leaves. How many times have you been distracted like this mother? Maybe you are preoccupied for a good reason, but still you are distracted. Often you can miss guidance from others, direction from an unbiased outsider who can see a need or even a correction of a behavior that you have not recognized as sin. On the flip side, you may relate to the little girl who was hungry for instruction, awareness, and assurance from her mother. You fight against the grain and try not to be conformed to the world or the ways of the ungodly people. Perhaps Jesus is saying, I see you and I hear you. But often we miss that still small voice. God is always ready to point you in the right direction, ready to provide friends who can invest in your life, soften your heart, and love you through the tough correction He must give. That is His job as our Father. Us being His children, when we fall short, when we do something we are not supposed to do, when we do something that He is not okay with, that does not line up with His will, we deserve discipline. And so many of us think that we don't. And I don't know where we get that concept to where we think that we're not supposed to be punished. Where does that come from, you guys? Like, literally. Why do we think that we don't deserve to be disciplined when we do wrong? Yes, He's loving. Yes, He's kind. Yes, He has grace. Yes, He has mercy. But there's also discipline behind that. And so many people don't want to talk about the importance of being disciplined in your walk with Christ. What is up with that? Y'all think we're supposed to just get everything we want and be passed out blessing after blessing after blessing? I wish it was like that. Wouldn't it be cake and get your ice cream too? But it's not that way, you guys. It's not. We have to accept the discipline, respect the discipline, and obey. Just like we want our children to each and every day. It says, but you must see Him and hear Him. The verse reminds the reader to love instruction and knowledge. The source of wise instruction and knowledge is God and His Word. When a child of God rejects His teaching, God must discipline the disciple. While correction is despised by most people, it is necessary for personal growth and spiritual maturity. No chastising discipline seems to be joyful for the present, but painful nevertheless afterwards. It yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Read Hebrews 12 and 11. Children of God should seek to learn from Him and accept correction when needed. The prayer today, ask the Lord to slow you down and listen to the instructions from His Word. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. Accept instruction from the Lord and from those whom He places in your life to guide and to lead in His truth. Be aware of times when you are stubborn and rejecting His direction. That was one powerful devotion. Y'all go and read chapter 12. Go read chapter 12. One of the most verses that stood out to me, there was verse 1, of course. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, and whoever hates correction is stupid. The next one that stood out to me, verse 18, the words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise bring healing. Verse 25, one of my favorite verses, Proverbs 12:25. Write this down. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. And that's so true, you guys. So true. Verse 4, a wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones. Those are the main verses that stick out to me in chapter 12 and speak in my life to me, that I can apply into my life. And an honest witness tells the truth, but a false witness tells lies. We talked about the lying tongue yesterday, how important it is not to tell lies, whether it's a little white lie or not. We are not to tell lies. And so many Christians still tell lies. And I've been there. I've done that before. I'm not going to say that I haven't. In the past. Not recent, but in the past. But I love you guys. And tomorrow morning, probably around 6:20, 6:30, we will do chapter 13. And I hope you hop on and read with us. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday night.